Welcome back. This time we're talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, Episode 2, Meet the New Boss. The series premiere left us with a series of disconnected storylines for our various characters. And I mentioned in my review for that episode that the series works best when its team is together, and typically every season starts with them broken apart and they come back together. So I have to say, I was pleased and honestly surprised how many of those storylines got connected together in this episode, even though our various characters still weren't all on screen together. That being said, one of the storylines that didn't have a direct connection to the others in this episode is the one that gave it its title, Meet the New Boss, in that we got to meet the new director who replaced Coulson. And although we still don't know if we can trust him and what his ultimate agenda is, we did get the big reveal that he's actually an Inhuman, and a pretty powerful one at that, considering how easily he took out May, who, even considering how affected she was by whatever ghost infection she had, she's not a pushover. The other thing that we learned on that front in this episode is the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. is planning to go public again, tying it into the aftermath of Captain America Civil War, in which Steve Rogers is now AWOL. Which leads me to ask the question, if S.H.I.E.L.D. does go public again, will the Avengers finally find out that Coulson's actually alive? While the show can reference the movies almost never reference the show, so they've never really had the opportunity to let the Avengers know that Coulson's alive. So as far as where S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually going, that remains one of the big questions early on in the season. So with the exception of Dr. Radcliffe and Ada, pretty much every other storyline got connected this week, with Daisy, Ghost Rider, and our S.H.I.E.L.D. team basically now all focused on these ghosts, which, based on Fitz's findings in the S.H.I.E.L.D. lab, as well as some of the conversations we heard between them, it appears that it's not necessarily supernatural-based, but more highly advanced science-based. Although, again, it's all based on some kind of book, which could lead us back to the supernatural route, and that's just something we're going to have to wait to find out on. And while we're on the subject of the supernatural, Ghost Rider did say that he's not an Inhuman and that he sold his soul to the devil. So just how deeply the show's actually going to fall into the supernatural realm still remains to be seen. But what we do know is that these ghosts, or whatever they are, were part of some kind of experiment in this facility in Pasadena. And apparently Ghost Rider has a connection to that facility as well. And I really couldn't tell by the photograph that he stole upon leaving after killing that one ghost, even after pausing the photograph, whether he or someone he's related to might have been in that photograph and they're part of some of the same experiment. So overall, I enjoyed this episode, especially considering the fact that they really tied everything together pretty early on, and a lot earlier on than they typically do in their seasons. As I said before, I like this show when the team is together. And although Daisy didn't come back into the fold, it appears, based on this last scene, that she is going to officially be teaming up with Ghost Rider, which will bring both of them back into connection with the team sooner rather than later. And on one final note, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed Fitz's outburst at Daisy when he talked about how they'd all gone through horrible things and lost people, but didn't run away like she has. And you could tell that really did affect her, even though she didn't want to show it, and she ultimately left anyway, but it was a good character moment for both of them. So what do you think of this episode? Did you like the fact that everything's kind of getting tied together a little earlier than usual? As always, you can subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other reviews, and until next time, watch out for angry ghosts.